All right, take 5. This is Lucas Schwekendiek. Today I want to talk to you about how to make others like you more. If you've been following me on Medium and Quora, you'll notice that I'm kind of putting words or putting video to some of my Medium posts. So please follow me there if you want the content sooner and in writing form. But I feel like this gives me a chance to kind of elaborate on the writing, where otherwise it would be just a lot of words that were meaningless, kind of like those just now. And so I'm taking the most read articles by you and putting them to video format. The one that I wrote at the beginning of last month, what was want others to instantly like you. Here are 11 things to remember. So I'm going to go through these 11 things to make others like you more. They will not all work for you as always, but hopefully half of them will work for you half the time. Firstly, remember that when you're engaging with anyone, it's new for them too. You're not the only one that's in a new conversation or meeting a new person, and they are likely nervous as well. You just have to be a tiny bit more courageous than the person across from you. Just a tiny bit more to go out of your way to initiate the conversation, to initiate a certain type of conversation, to do a little more than they are. Because as you know, you're still waiting for them to come up to you. We all are. We all wish that interesting people would just come find us. But if we think of ourselves as interesting, then we have to go out and find those other people and give them a chance. Socializing is always something about, always a matter of taking the first step and doing something that you want to do in that sense. So engaging people, starting topics and conversations that you want to do. And my tip for you is just remember that it's new for them too, and they've been waiting as well. So take that little bit of extra courage and go out yourself. Number 2 is smile. If you sit there with a very straight and stern face all the time, people either will assume that you're too serious, or they will assume that you have no joy in your life. And that's not the point. So sit there with a smile on your face, because it creates positive energy. If you know anyone from maybe high school or college days, or maybe you have a friend like this right now who's just happy all the time, they will get people surrounded. They will be surrounded by people because they generate that positive energy that we all want. Vice versa, if you've ever been sad or depressed, or you have a friend who's sad or depressed, people like to avoid them. And I know that's very mean, but it's just a negative energy that would drag them down as well. And they don't want that. They have their own life to deal with. So smile. Trigger that lightheartedness and that upbeatness in the conversation. Don't take things too seriously and just have a good time. Number 3, allow the other person to talk more. Now, this is a trick learned from therapy, which is called active listening. When you're allowing the other person to talk more by adding open-ended questions, by asking about more details, what you're doing is you're making them feel more important. There's a general, rule of thumb, you could say, and that is the more we talk, the more important we feel. That is why people that are pretty arrogant like to talk a storm. Me too, but that's because this is a one-sided conversation, and you get it. The point is that if you make sure that the other person is engaged in a conversation, if you're interested in them, they'll feel like, they'll feel some newness that they usually don't get, some value, some sense of pride in themselves. So try your best to ask these open-ended questions. Try your best to be interested in the other person and get more from them. That will make them, even if they talk for 95% of an hour conversation and you only talk for about 5 minutes, they'll still go away saying, wow, what an amazing conversation. As long as you can put those questions in the right places. Number 4, allow them to have different opinions. Please please, when you're in a conversation, it is not about proving your self-worth to that person. It is not about raising things. It's just and simply about you putting your best foot forward, about you opening up a discussion, and discussion means everyone's on the same level. You're not talking about who's value more or who's right so that they're valued more. That has nothing to do with this. This is simply a discussion where both of you are on the same level. Don't let your ego get in the way. Allow them to have a different opinion. Allow them to say what they want to say. And you don't have to accept it either, just like they don't have to accept yours. It's not about being right or wrong. Number 5, stay open to new things. Now, while you may not like what they have to say, and while you may not like their opinion, as long as you take it in any way and are at least a little bit open to it, that's all that anyone can ask, and that allows them to feel like they may have made a difference. Again, you don't have to fully accept what they say, you don't have to believe what they say, you just have to be a little bit open so that you don't get defensive. Because that defensiveness is usually what turns into arguments and later fights. And then you'll definitely leave a bad impression. Number 6, pay attention. Listen to what they have to say. You know this. Right? Don't be on your cell phone. Don't do other things. Just be there in the moment. Be there in the conversation. I shouldn't even have to say this, but I do still, because a lot of people still don't listen. And I'm not asking you to listen like a therapist would listen or like a coach would listen, but do listen to at least the content of what they're saying. You don't have to go behind or you don't have to go in between the lines. Number 7, be direct. If you want to say something, say it. Or just leave it completely out. But this passive aggressiveness, this subtle throwing things in there, that's stressful, and that usually gets people to dislike you quite a bit. Even if they don't know why you're being passive aggressive, it's just that sense of pressure, that sense of tension that makes them not want to spend time with you. So either you say it without sarcasm, without any underhandedness, or you leave it be. And this is usually for conversations that you have with people that you don't like. Don't hold anything back. Now, you don't have to say it in a crappy way, but do say it. And if you don't say it, then let it go. Look, for example, look, I really don't like what you just said, and it's fine if you think it was just a joke, but I'm trying to live more positive, so please stop doing that in the future. Anyway, whatever. Let it out into the world, and then let them, deal with their response to it. But you show your entire hand. Don't hold anything back, because that makes it passive aggressive, that builds up tension, that builds up negativity, and in the end people will like you a lot less. If you're being direct, however, usually people will appreciate that, at least in the long run. Number 8, keep an open body language. This is not very conducive to conversations. This will make the other person feel tension as well. This is something we've gotten from the animal kingdom. Open, confident, taking up a lot of space, showing your vitals is still something ingrained with us from hundreds of millions of years, or millions of years, whatever, of evolution. And it's not something we'll get away from that easily. It triggers the subconscious idea of power, the subconscious idea of comfort, and that makes them feel more comfortable as well. Some people that are very assertive or arrogant may see this as a threat, but most people see this as an opening to also let down their guard. Keep your arms uncrossed, your feet facing outward, stand tall, take up a bit more space, and have a good time. Number 9, be confident in yourself. You don't have to be confident that you don't make a mistake, but you have to be confident that if you make a mistake, it's not going to matter. See the video again, rewatch it, look at how many mistakes I made. It doesn't matter. And if I skip over a mistake because I know it doesn't matter, then you're not embarrassed for me. But if I say like a lot and then point out that and feel embarrassed about it, and now it's kind of awkward because I'm putting the emphasis on like how much like I'm saying, and I said it again. You feel that? You feel that weirdness going on? That's what happens when you're not confident in yourself. When you're not confident in the conversation. Like, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna embarrass yourself. Things are gonna happen. But if you're internally comfortable, then that comfort will seep through. Remember that your emotions seep through to every conversation that you have, even if it's just a phone call. The emotions that you have put themselves in your micro expressions, in the words you use or the synonyms you use to get the same thing across, and in your body language. All of that subconsciously signal to the other person a sense of the emotions that you're having, and then it becomes a fight of the two emotions. Your emotions versus their emotions. And most of the time, subconsciously, passively, you equal out. So if you're really happy, they'll come up to your level and you'll go down a little bit to their level. But if you're confident in yourself, if you're having a good time, that's kind of what you want. You want other people to feel better after the conversation. That's how they like you. So create that comfort. First with yourself by being okay with your mess-ups. And then more as you go along. Number 10, compliment them. Wow, I really like your shirt. Wow, those are some cool shoes you have. Wow, that hairstyle looks amazing on you. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. Don't stick with the compliment until it gets awkward. Wow, that hair looks really amazing on you. In fact, you look great in general. Wow, I can't believe how pretty you are. Dang, that's wow. That starts to become uncomfortable. But if it's a genuine compliment, like, hey, I really like your shirt. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Moving on. That's something that people get way too little of, and something that a lot of people will treasure. Now, if you can compliment them once every time, or once every other time you meet them, on average, that'll create a good sense within them. That'll create that sense that you actually appreciate them, and you're seeing beyond whatever they portray to everybody else. You're paying more attention to them, meaning they think that you value them more highly than the other people around, which means in turn that they'll want to spend more time with you. Number 11, leave and start on a positive note. This is also something from psychology. It's called the primacy and recency effect. Basically, for example, if you look at a commercial, how the commercial starts and how it ends are the most two important things. Like in a presentation, what happens at the beginning of the presentation and at the end of a presentation will be remembered most often. The middle part is not that important. So you want to leave on great notes when you start and when you end a conversation with someone. Be energetic when you greet them. Be enthusiastic. Really engage in a positive way with them. And then you can slow down your energy levels. And then at the end, compliment them, say how great it was to meet them, engage with them once more. Do this and they'll likely remember the whole conversation, even if the middle part sucked a little bit, very well. Now, all of these things, if you apply all 11 of them, they won't necessarily make someone instantly like you, but they'll definitely add to it. They'll make you a person that others want to be around with. Doesn't matter. That others want to be around, period. And that creates some positive energy within you as well, because as more people flock around you, you'll feel better yourself. So try these 11 things out. As you know, I probably didn't edit any things in there, any lines in there, so you'll just have to go through it again. Or you look for it on Medium, which is where I write, leaving on a note to get you to follow my other content. Thanks so much for watching, and please hit the subscribe button. I already have enough subscribers to get like the YouTube paid partnership, whatever, but not enough views. So if you guys could help me out with that, that'd be great, because that would mean that I actually get paid to put in these videos, which would be kind of nice. So thank you for all those who've watched this far. Thank you for watching. And once I find my link, I will say I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.